I ask, what would count as a meaningful theological argument for Paul? Because Paul's letters, it's not Thomas Aquinas' Summa. He's not starting from first principles, defining key terms. These are occasional letters. So on the basis of what Paul writes, what would count as something theologically weighty or load-bearing or significant? And Paul makes himself clear on this matter, I think, in 1 Corinthians 8. Now, this isn't to say I'm going to now articulate the sum total of everything Paul has to say about epistemology. It's definitely not the case. But a very important aspect of his understanding of how we know something, his epistemology, is bound up in his response to the Corinthian knowledgeable. In 1 Corinthians 8, he's engaging the knowledgeable who claim to have true theological propositions. And they're using those theological propositions to justify going along to the local idol temple and enjoying the meat that's cheaper there, and the business relationships they're going to be able to create as well. And their propositions, there is no God but one, and there is no idol in the world that really exists. And in a sense, both are true. And certainly one of them is true from pretty much any angle you're looking at it from Second Temple perspective. So they've got true theological propositions, but they're using these to harm others is ultimately the problem. And so Paul critiques their way of knowing in 1 Corinthians 8, the first 3 verses, and says that knowledge puffs up, but love builds up. And he's not being anti-intellectual, because he goes on to speak in the next verse of a necessary knowing. And that necessary knowing he then elaborates on in the following verses. It's covenantal. It's about relating to the one God and knowing the one God and being in that covenant relationship with God. He uses explicit covenantal language in order to articulate that. And many commentators have picked up on this because it's explicit in the text. But they're not taking it the step further and said, okay, if this is key then to understanding what is theologically load-bearing for Paul, what does that mean for us when we're articulating what theology is for Paul?